Thank you for joining us today. I'm Bill Spearman, President of the American Public Works Association. Today, we are celebrating the top 10 public works leaders of the year and National Public Works Week, both of which began in 1960. National Public Works Week is a time when we encourage public works organizations and professionals to tell their stories. Today, you're going to have a unique opportunity. You're going to hear the stories of our top 10 public works leaders of 2020. And congratulations to you all. Each of the top 10 public works winners will have the opportunity to talk about the professional accomplishments that they think are the most important in their career, as well as how they got involved in the chapters and what that has meant in their professional career as well. You know, this is an important thing. These top 10 winners are joining a long list of outstanding professionals. So now, on with the show. Our first winner in alphabetical order is Peggy Allen from DeKalb County, Georgia. Peggy is the Assistant Public Works Director and a dear friend of mine. Peggy, congratulations.
Thank you so much, Bill. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the Georgia chapter who nominated me for this prestigious award, the DeKalb County, Georgia government, with whom I've spent the past 30 years of my career, and along with the more than 700,000 citizens of DeKalb County, all of whom I report to directly. It is indeed an honor to have been selected for this award by my peers. I'm not sure why most of us choose a career in public works or public service. I only know for me that I start each day asking myself why I made this career choice. And at the end of a 14 or 16-hour day filled with endless phone calls, insurmountable problems, I only choose to remember that one thank you for a job well done from that one individual citizen. Through the years, I've authored dozens of articles, papers, case studies, and even 2 books. But 2 accomplishments that I'm most proud of are, 1, the implementation of a traffic signal priority control project and bus rapid transit with queue jumpers for our Metro Transit Authority. We implemented this job on 3 corridors. One portion of the project was the first of its kind in the country. And the second thing that I'm most proud of is my mentorship with high school and college age students who are interested in the engineering profession. Those 2 are among my most treasured accomplishments. Additionally, my work in partnering with the Georgia chapter has allowed me to collaborate with many projects and many public work issues over many areas, not just here in the state of Georgia, but on a national level. And while I can go on about personal accomplishments, it's the work of the Public Works Association that makes the difference between the quality of life for our citizens, the citizens of DeKalb County and the United States. So I would like to thank you again for your continued support and for those who embrace the public works profession. And roll tide. Thank you.
Thank you, Peggy, so much. And I think you heard in her comments the mantra that I have had this past year, and that is the public works because of public works. And it's that service attitude that we have that Peggy so perfectly exemplifies. Thank you and congratulations again, Peggy. Our next recipient is Robert Anderson, Public Works Director for the City of Columbia, South Carolina. Now, it's pretty unique in that 3 Public Works top 10 winners have come from the City of Columbia. Miles Hadley, who was one of the first ones I ever knew, Robert's former boss, Missy Gentry, and now Robert. So congratulations, Robert. Robert was nominated by the South Carolina chapter.
Thank you, Bill. And I'm honored and humbled at this award. It's, to accept something like this is amazing. To join not only the past winners of Columbia, but the past winners of our state. And there's been several of them and throughout the country. So to put all of us of this year's top 10 and myself in this elite group is amazing. And under these circumstances that we're going through, it's great that we can actually still celebrate our things. I would also like to thank our South Carolina chapter and the people with the City of Columbia that put this award together and thought enough to do that. when I came to work for the city back in 1988, I thought I was going to be here for a year or two. And I don't know that Public Works chooses, or you choose Public Works. I think Public Works chooses you. And I think that's what I found. The support here at the City of Columbia over the years has been tremendous. And, anybody that knows a little bit about me knows that I started out as a supervisor with no formalized college, and now I'm the Public Works Director. So I do think that is a great accomplishment, not only for myself, but for others around me that know this can work. The Public Works staff, my family, my mother, who raised me in a small farming community in Missouri, my wife, who everybody's got one. Everybody that's married know that you have a wife, and that wife is the one that really supports you each and every day with what you do, whether you get up at midnight, or yesterday even I got up on a Sunday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon because there was a water leak somewhere, so I had to go. What this award's meant to me is the greatest accomplishment. And as I took time to read through the award, I said the word humbled, and I looked and I'm like, I didn't do this. I guided this is all I did. So it's who you surround yourself with, and the staff of your Public Works department, and the support you get throughout your community, and the 1 or 2 thank yous you get. But if you don't have a great team of experts sitting under you or around you, then you cannot accomplish what was written in my top 10. So with that, I have to say again, thank you to everybody that provided this. And when you look at it, you're humbled. I became a member of the American Public Works Association in 1992. There was an award called the Award of Merit. Bill, you may remember that was presented to me not only by the board, but at that time 2 other people, and I have to acknowledge them. And one of them was J.W. Bonner, who was the former solid waste superintendent here, and the other one was, and a longtime friend, and who promoted me into some of the positions that I took with the city, is Mark McCain. Yes. Mark McCain recently retired. I got a thank you card from him and Dean recently. So I want to thank that, Jim Bonner has passed away, but Mark is still with us, and Mark is still been a great mentor for me. What APWA has provided to me over the years is a networking of people, not only locally, but nationally. Our local chapter it's so nice to be able to pick up a phone and say, have you experienced this problem? And we get together on it, or just share our frustrations with each other. So the networking that we've done throughout the career with APWA, I hope continues on through the legacies of others. And hopefully we will get through this other issue, and we'll all have a great year. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you, Robert. Robert hit on another very important part for me, and that is APWA is a family. And we do work together very well because we are a family. And I will have to tell you that the 2 other folks that I mentioned from Columbia, Robert and Missy Gentry, are the reason that I got involved with the South Carolina chapter. And that's could be considered the beginning of me becoming president of APWA. So thank you, Robert. Thank you, Missy. And thank you for all the support of all of you over the years. Our next recipient, who was nominated by the Minnesota chapter, is Kristin Dashing. She is a Public Works Director for the City of Richfield, Minnesota. Congratulations, Kristin.
Well, thank you, Bill. I'd just like to say hello, and thank you to the association for this recognition. I'm very humbled to be nominated by the Minnesota chapter, and extremely honored to have been selected as one of the top 10 public works leaders. I started with the city about 16 years ago, and at the time our Public Works Director was Mike Eastling, and he had brought me to my first APWA event right away. He was very excited for me to get involved in the chapter, and he actually proved to be a great mentor, and I should mention he was also a past top 10 public works leader. But over the years we worked together, and he got me involved with APWA right away, and for that I'm very grateful. It's actually really hard to imagine what the last 16 years would have been like without APWA. I would have missed out on just so much, and like everybody else is going to mention, the relationships that you build, the knowledge that you're tapped into. I try to go to every event I can go to. I don't miss a conference. I go to PWX, and I have a great time catching up with our colleagues and meeting new people, and it's just a great time to reconnect and share experiences. My involvement with the Minnesota chapter has allowed me to grow professionally in a lot of ways. Many years ago, I served as a director on the executive board, and eventually I moved through all the office positions. So I sit here now as a past president of the chapter, and I'm really grateful to be able to observe the chapter in that way, and it's provided me growth opportunities I would not have found elsewhere for sure. But as public works professionals, we all know that we're in the quality of life business. And so for me, that means how can we best serve our communities and improve the quality of the lives of those who we touch with our work. And I get really excited to talk about infrastructure projects and how we turn them into community projects. And I really like the idea of adding public spaces and art or whatever that may be for that specific project, and invite people in to enjoy the infrastructure rather than just pass by. And I think we do a lot in public works. My most proudest accomplishments, I'd say, is working for the city of Ridgefield in a time when Ridgefield's going through reinvestment. And so we have a lot of road reconstructions, major roadways that kind of throughways through the city. And so I've had the opportunity to work with the community on that. During my time, we've been involved in developing a community-led process that promotes community-based designs for our roads, and it builds a lot of support. We've implemented a citywide bicycle network, and I say we because it's not just me. And we've also transformed the public space through our major road reconstructions, like I mentioned, all with extensive public input, engagement, and support, which is really important. And the reaction that we get to these projects is very touching. I can tell you that we are improving the lives of those that spend their time in Ridgefield. I have a few stories I'll share briefly. There's a gentleman in a wheelchair who lives on one side of town who called to thank us after one of our reconstructs because he used to be confined to his block. And after the road was reconstructed, he could get miles away into the city parks and everything, changing his everyday, which was a big deal for him. And then even one of our own public works workers, elementary school aged daughter, and her friends are riding their bikes around town. She'll come and she'll spend lunch with her dad here, and then she'll go off to grandma's house to take a visit. And they're riding their bikes on roads that previously even experienced bikers weren't comfortable riding their bikes. So when we hear a lot of these types of stories, I know that we've touched your lives in a positive way, and I'm extremely proud to have been able to serve the Ridgefield community in this way. And as a director, I think about how can I improve the lives of the people here in this building who are spending their days providing those services. And so I've been a director for 5 years now, and I'm really proud of the team. They're hardworking, they're talented, they're dedicated people, just like pretty much everybody in public works is. But I also, I have an 11-year-old son who ever since he was a toddler, I would take on my days off, I'd bring him out to the job and we'd sit for an hour or two watching him replace the underground infrastructure. And he comes to work with me a lot, and he likes to be here, and I take every opportunity I can to share with him the importance of the work that we do in public works and how it's essential and how the community is relying on it. And it's not easy, it's not glamorous, and we don't always get thanked for it, but it sure is something to be proud of and worth celebrating. So I just want to say thank you to all the public works professionals out there. And again, thank you for this great honor. I'm proud to be a top 10 leader and just grateful to be part of this profession. So thank you.
Thank you, Kristin. And she made a very important comment there. Somebody took her and encouraged her to get involved in APWA. So that's a challenge to all of these top 10 winners out there. Look around your offices and your friends and find somebody that you will encourage to be a part of APWA. Their lives will be enriched. The rest of the association will be enriched as well. So thank you very much, and congratulations again. Our next top 10 recipient, who's nominated by the Colorado chapter, is Marlene Crosby, the Public Works Director for Gunnison County, Colorado. Marlene, congratulations.
Thank you, President Spearman. I am very honored and humbled to be a part of the group of 10 individuals receiving this award. I have to begin by saying thank you to the Colorado chapter for selecting me as their nominee. It makes me very proud to represent them. When your career with an agency spans almost 35 years and you reflect on what has been done during that time, there are many professional accomplishments to be proud of and to know that you were part of a larger group that made them happen. I feel that one of my biggest accomplishments was reshaping the department, which included building self-esteem, providing training and team building. Our department is well respected in our county, and that credit goes to each employee. During the time I've been the director, one project that stands out for me was recently highlighted in American Infrastructure magazine. The reconstruction and paving of Cottonwood Pass has been under discussion since the mid-1980s. It initially was an unpopular project due to the scope of work and environmental concerns. After years of working with the Federal Highway Administration, the Forest Service, and the public, it was satisfying to be at the ribbon cutting for a newly constructed paved road over the Continental Divide. The most important contribution that I feel I have made is working with my staff and a local engineer to secure a USDA loan grant to extend a 3-mile sewer main to connect 300 homes to central sewer. We were able to reduce the number of individual septic systems in an important wellhead recharge area. That water quality project is the most lasting and important contribution that I feel I have made to my community. My involvement with the Colorado chapter began early in my career. When I was promoted to the position of supervisor, I knew I had a lot to learn about the technical aspects of the job. So I began attending every training session or conference that was available. At one of those conferences, I was asked if I would take over the conference and try and grow it, or it would have to be discontinued. Gunnison County became the host, and 25 plus years later, we still have the conference and the equipment rodeo, which is attended by 250 to 325 operators and vendors. Taking over this conference started a long relationship for me with the Colorado chapter, who provided access to very qualified mentors and to vendors who provided information about their products. The chapter provided a black book of people you could call when you needed information, advice, or sometimes just encouragement. I was asked to be on the chapter board and served in a number of offices. Attending National Congress and participating on the task force promoting the formation of a Small Cities and Rural Communities Forum allowed me to continue to work to provide training for a unique group that formed a large part of the National APWA membership at that time. Our world is changing so quickly that without a state and national organization providing conferences, training opportunities, and lobbying for infrastructure funding, I do not feel that as a small organization, we would be able to meet the challenges that are coming our way. I would like to close by saying thank you again to the National APWA and the Selection Committee for this award. And thank you to all of the friends and professional associates that I have had the privilege to work with through the years. In closing, a special thank you to Debbie Verschow, the administrative assistant who put together the nomination packet, and a heartfelt thank you to everyone on my staff who helped make Gunnison County a great place to work.
Thank you, Marlene, so much for that. I think there were 2 real points to take away there. Number one, her infrastructure project there to help those citizens definitely advanced the quality of life for all. And the second part was their conference highlighting the operators. Those operations and maintenance folks that are out there day in and day out doing things in all kinds of weather, being able to recognize them in our conferences and our association is a very important thing. And so I thank you for both of those. Our next recipient is, who was nominated by the Illinois chapter, is Bill Gray, Public Works Director, retired from the city of Urbana, Illinois. Bill, congratulations.
Thank you so much, Bill. This surely is quite an honor. The professional accomplishments I am most proud of are reflected in the successful implementation of intergovernmental agreements. These intergovernmental agreements were possible because of my leadership in serving, building relationships, and collaborating with diverse organizations. These agreements benefited not only my community, Urbana, but also adjacent communities and other public entities. Examples of these efforts and their results include the creation of a statewide public works mutual aid network in Illinois, the construction of a multi-agency 4,000-ton salt storage shed, the construction of an area-wide stormwater retention and wetland basin that involved 7 agencies, the establishment of sanitary and stormwater system multi-agency technical committees. Other accomplishments that I was responsible for within my city include replacing obsolete series street lighting, dramatically reducing chronic sanitary sewer backups in homes and businesses, and constructing new complete streets to improve multimodal connectivity. These accomplishments could not have occurred without my role in the successful implementation of a stormwater utility fee, a sewer benefit tax, and a local motor fuel tax. I got involved with APWA through my first public works director, Tom Borchert, an active member, who encouraged me to join. I soon realized the educational and network benefits to membership. I decided that this professional association gave me the greatest value, so I invested my time in APWA versus other competing associations. I volunteered to work on committees. These endeavors energized me to pursue leadership positions in the branch and chapter, ultimately serving as chapter president and chapter delegate. I urge all public works professionals, especially those in leadership positions, to encourage their staff to become members in APWA. They will not regret it. So, APWA, to me, has become the source for information. APWA has always been a professionally run association, and that is especially important for the reputation of the public works industry and to the citizens we serve. APWA has provided a training path for our employees, especially as they pursue leadership positions and better their careers. APWA has allowed me to give back to its members what APWA has provided me in my career. I would like to thank my family, my wife, Kathy, the city of Urbana and the Urbana Public Works staff that I've worked with for 26 years. I'd like to thank the Illinois chapter of APWA for their strong support and encouragement. And my sincere thanks goes out to APWA for selecting me for this Top 10 Leadership Award. This is truly an honor, and I'm very humbled that you have bestowed on me, on the 10 of us, this award. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bill. I heard Carol Hawker, who's the Public Works Director for the City of Houston, say last week that her leadership training that she got by serving in leadership positions in APWA helped her as she went through this pandemic and the things that she faced. So when we encourage folks to be on our boards, at both the chapter, branch, and national and committees, it definitely has a lasting effect and gives them the skills and knowledge that they need to do their daily jobs. So thank you for bringing that up, Bill. I definitely appreciate it very much. Our next recipient is a dear friend of mine, Judy Heinz. We're not going to tell you how long we've known each other because she was just a mere child when I first met her. But Judy is the Assistant Director of Public Works for the City of Newport News, Virginia, which is in the Tidewater area. And she was nominated by the Mid-Atlantic chapter. Judy, congratulations.
Thank you, Bill. Greetings from Newport News, Virginia. There have been 2 previous top 10 recipients from my agency, Ralph Spear in 1980 and Reed Fowler in 2007. I worked for both of them, and I'm very privileged to be joining them as a top 10. I am deeply honored and humbled to have been nominated by the Mid-Atlantic Chapter Board of Directors. Being selected a top 10 public works leader is truly the pinnacle of my professional career. I want to give special thanks to Gaynell Hart and Stacy Reynolds for putting the nomination together, and thank you to everyone who wrote letters of support. This recognition is only possible because I have been surrounded by great people in the Newport News Public Works Department for my entire career. This includes department leadership as well as our frontline professionals. I have also worked with many great people in APWA, both in my chapter and across the entire association, who are dedicated to making public works stronger. Early in my career, there were few women in public works. Professionally, I have always strived to be a role model to others in my department, but most particularly to the women. I am a strong proponent of APWA accreditation. Newport News Public Works was accredited in 2003. We were the first agency in Virginia to be accredited and the 11th in the nation. We have maintained this status for 17 years, and I am proud to have been part of this achievement. I work to inspire other municipalities to become accredited as a means to strengthen their agencies. My first involvement with APWA was attending a chapter conference in 1995. In 1997, I helped plan our chapter conference, serving as the treasurer. I have been on our chapter board since 2009, serving as president in 2014-2015. Now, as the chapter delegate, I have the opportunity to meet and work with public works professionals across the United States and Canada. This allows me to bring back ideas to strengthen our chapter and my community. I am most proud of leading the effort to get the Mid-Atlantic Public Works Institute off the ground in 2014 and helping to establish a strong educational program for current and future public works leaders. This has benefited agencies throughout our chapter area and has provided a cornerstone for leadership development in Newport News Public Works. I have had many mentors during my APWA involvement. 3 I would like to mention are women from my chapter. They are Sharon Fox, chapter president, Judy Mueller, chapter and APWA president, and Diane Linderman, APWA president. These women have always encouraged me to do more and make me grow as a leader. I am proud to call them colleagues and friends. My parents taught me to serve and give back. I strive to do this through my church and civic life, and Public Works and APWA allow me to give back in my professional life and help make my community a better place to live, work, and play. Thank you again to everyone involved in my nomination and to the Top 10 committee for selecting me for this honor. I want to congratulate my fellow 2020 recipients and all the nominees. I look forward to meeting all of you in 2021 at PWX in St. Louis. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Judy. Judy touched on 2 very important things in APWA. The accreditation, that program that really brings up the quality of our public service, and also the Institute. Another way of reaching out to folks to actually give them the management and leadership training that they need to succeed in the future, as well as make our departments better. So thank you, Judy, and congratulations again. Our next top 10 recipient was nominated by the Chicago Metro chapter, and that is Howard Killian. Howard is the Director of Public Works for the city of Elmhurst, Illinois. Congratulations, Howard.
Thank you, Bill. First, let me start off by saying that it's an honor to be with you other 9 winners this year. I know it's a kind of a strange year, but it's really an honor, and very proud to be part of this group today. My congrats also, or my thank you, sorry, also goes out to my assistants, who nominated me for the chapter award, and then for the Chicago Metro chapter, who nominated me up for the national award. I became a member of APWA back in 1998 when I worked for the Village of Arlington Heights. The director at the time basically signed me up and said, this is an organization that you're going to want to be a part of throughout your career. And after, a couple of years of being at luncheons and seminars and golf outings, we love to golf up here, I slowly became involved and held some chairmanships in both the chapter and the branch levels, and then also the officer positions in the suburban branch. I was also honored to be able to serve on one of the national committees one year, which was very rewarding for me. APWA, to me, I would say the education opportunities is really what's driven it. The level of knowledge that you can gain from everything that's being offered, but also at the same time, the networking opportunities. You can always count on someone from another town who's been in a similar situation that you have been in, or you're looking for information. And a lot of these people have now become lifelong friends with me. Professional accomplishments, it's kind of interesting. And some of you have said it already, it's very humbling when you're nominated for this award and you start to go through and look at everything you've done. I've been in this industry for 35 years, and looking back over 35 years of work and projects, it's amazing the amount of work and lives we all have touched. There's the multiple actual physical projects, the water towers I was able to build, fire stations, police stations. You look back on some of these and the civic pride that it brings to the community. I'm also fortunate that my wife is also a civil engineer with another agency. And it's kind of fun when we drive our kids around, our friends, we're like, hey, look what dad built. Hey, look what mom designed. It's kind of fun to see those images throughout the community all the time. One of the things I'm very proud of, and Bill Gray had mentioned it, is, we've continued with the Public Works Mutual Aid Network in Illinois here. Very successful, and, a lot goes to Bill, who started that program, but it's very strong. And we've recently have now expanded to over 400 communities and agencies in Illinois are members of that. The last thing I think I'm proud of, and probably more importantly, is the impact we've made on people's lives. And one of the signs I have above my desk, I want to read it. It basically says, residents are not interruptions for our work, they're the reasons for it. And I try to instill that to all my employees and all my supervisors. One of the things I'm proud of is that we have actually taken Public Works and made it a fun place to work, myself and my assistants. We like to have contests, we like to have cookouts, give reason to people to, enjoy coming to work besides just the work that they do. And one of the other things I'm very proud of is that when you look back, when I have see interns who work for me for interns or engineers earlier in their careers who have now moved on to become public works directors, I'm very proud of that. And I hope that I had hopefully some guidance to them. There's probably about 5 or 6 of my former employees are actually public works directors now. So I think that's, in part great. I try to do the mentoring for them. So overall, I think, again, this recognition, while it is very honored to be given this award, it really goes out to all the people, all my assistants over the years, all the people I've worked with, all the managers, all the mayors and elected officials who've given us the opportunity to do the work that we do. And, who my employees who really love coming to work every day and serving the residents of our community. So thanks again. And it's an honor and very humbling to be a top 10 leader with all of you. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Howard. Those legacies are very important, whether it's in our industry or other places. And we do have a responsibility as those of us who have been in this industry for a long time to be able to reach out and identify those folks and help them from a mentorship and actually calling them colleagues and making them feel like that they are important and they have things and they can do great things. So thanks for bringing that up, Howard. I really appreciate it. Our next top 10 recipient, who was nominated by the Iowa chapter, is Randy Krall, Director of Public Works and City Engineer for the City of Carroll, Iowa. Congratulations, Randy.
Thank you, President Spearman, for hosting this reception. And congratulations to each of the 2020 top 10 leaders. It's truly an honor to have been selected to join this outstanding group of dedicated professionals. I've always admired the careers of the past top 10 leaders from the Iowa chapter. Thank you again, President Spearman and the association, for honoring me with this award. I want to thank the Iowa chapter, its executive committee, and the many individual members who supported my nomination. And thanks to the City of Carroll mayors, council members, and managers who have permitted me to practice this profession of public works for all these years. And a special thank you to my wife and family for their continued support and understanding through the years, even when I may have had to miss a softball game or a wrestling match due to my work responsibilities. I began my public works career journey as Carroll had resolved to build a professional management staff. One of my proudest accomplishments is my contribution to the professional administrative management of the city. I am dedicated to pursuing the knowledge and resources necessary to provide the city's mayors, council members, and managers the best professional recommendations addressing public works operations of the city. APWA plays a key role in providing those resources so vital to city decision-making. I'm proud of our city employees, particularly our frontline superintendents. I've had the pleasure to coach and mentor those superintendents into professional decision-making within the policy parameters of the city. The results have been sound day-to-day decision-making within city policy. My transition from professional engineering consulting background to a public works career necessitated education and experience in the operations areas of public works. One of the operation areas that was my early interest was snow removal and ice control. At that time, Iowa State University Engineering Extension coordinated much of the continuing education in the state. One of those education events was an Iowa Snow Conference. I had attended the annual conference several times and was later invited to serve on the planning committee. The Iowa chapter was also a sponsor of that conference, and it was my association with the Iowa chapter members through those snow conferences that led to my getting involved in the chapter. The Iowa chapter semi-annual conferences and involvement in the executive committee have provided me the opportunity to stay current on technical and practical developments in the profession. And that's been both through formal conference presentations and informal conversations with public works practitioners. Each year, the Iowa chapter members converge on the hometown of the chapter president for our fall conference. We're given an opportunity to experience how many of the public works departments address the challenges of the day. I usually turn to Carol with new insights on how to address our local challenges. In my early years of chapter involvement, I respected and enjoyed listening to the public works related stories of chapter members who had long public works careers. Recently, during a chapter conference, a few of us similarly aged members observed that we are now the members who had long public works careers. But as I surveyed the room that day, I saw a lot of new faces in public works in Iowa. And I believe that the future of public works in Iowa and the nation, if I was any indication, is very optimistic in the hands of the dedicated professionals who are assuming the leadership positions in the public works profession. Thank you and stay safe.
Thank you so much, Randy. I think the real couple of key takeaways there is we always worry about what's going to happen in the future, but you said it very succinctly, and that as you attend these meetings, you see those younger members and people in the industry stepping up in these leadership roles. And if we encourage them and those kinds of things, I think we don't have to worry about the future. The future is going to be just fine. So congratulations again, Randy, and thank you very much. Our next top 10 recipient was nominated by the Southern California chapter. Even though he lives in Southern California now, he's actually from South Carolina. So we're going to claim his top 10 as one of ours as well. Harry Lauric, who is the principal and president of LA Consulting in Manhattan Beach, California. Harry, congratulations, my dear friend.
Thank you so much. What an honor, Bill. I'm actually from Columbia, South Carolina. So we've got 4 of us now. Anyway, I am humbled and honored, especially with hearing all these other top 10. That's just amazing. I want to thank the LA chapter for selecting me, especially Tran and Bonnie and Trish for encouraging me to go forward. I want to thank God for this opportunity. And I do want to thank my loving wife, Joyce, who's encouraged me all these years. But I also want to say that I had 2 great mentors. I had Bill Ryder in California and Ed Culpepper in Florida, who really guided me through this process. Ed took me aside. I was only 4 years out of college and brought me in and encouraged me. But he left me with one thing that I'll never forget, because he was really an ethical guy. He said, always try to do the right thing and everything will be okay. And I have used that throughout my career, and it really did work. Now, when I was honored to be selected, I started getting all these emails and calls and everything. And I was trying to think about what is my major accomplishment. And I realized my major accomplishment was helping other people, helping them, encouraging them so they can be better at what they do. And I got one email that really tied it down for me. It said, Harry, thank you for helping our company. Thank you for helping our people. But most of all, thank you for helping the ratepayers and the taxpayers getting the best bang for their dollar. Also, I have been really blessed to work in over 100 different agencies in many states, 14 different states, and actually in Australia. And actually have been able to work with over 5,000 people where I've trained and helped try to empower to be more efficient. And again, I was looking back at, what was a good example? Well, we worked with Volusia County, which is in Florida, and 10 years ago, we set up a system for them in business processes and computer systems. We trained them on how to better lead. And then recently, there was an audit done that said they saved $30 million during that 10-year period. Also, I've really been blessed in working on 2 large freeway projects, one in my home state of South Carolina, and also in Florida. We put in designed freeways of 40 miles long, 44 miles, and we had to route that to make sure it's on new alignment. So we missed environmental issues and streams, plants, animals, cultural issues. And after it was done, I felt so good about it because I thought we minimize the impact of the environment. Of course, we're supposed to take care of the environment. That is what we do. APWA, I love APWA. I joined APWA in the early 1980s, but I've really become active in the last 15 years in PWI, PWX, and also in our Street and Technology Conference here in Southern California. And the thing that I love most about that is being able to mentor and help young people and try to get them involved in public works and get them involved in APWA. And also, I've been really blessed as I'm also on the board of the LA chapter. And I've been just so excited to be able to help our urban area and we've got such a diverse urban area in LA and Orange County, one of our the bigger chapters. Also, I've been blessed being selected to be on the Leadership and Management Committee, which is not only working locally, but also across the whole country and doing some very positive things. And, from manuals to processes to procedures, we're setting up a benchmarking study, which has got me so stoked up that it's really going to help the entire country that we can use this to better plan and schedule. But what's really made me think when I started looking back at all these things I just talked about is what is our role? And our role is to serve. And what we do is we do serve in public works. We make sure that we have safe roads. We make sure we have clean water. We make sure we take care of the environment. So I would really encourage anybody who's not involved heavily in public to get involved again locally in a chapter, in the national. If you do, you'll develop friends like I have. I've had friends for 30 years just directly related to APWA. And I'd like to leave with one thing is that I think what Ed Culpepper told me years ago really applies, is always try to do the right thing and you're going to be okay. And so I thank you very much, Bill, and I thank you very much for being part of this honorable group. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Harry. Harry touched on some really important things there. As I've said before, I think public works is the highest form of public service. And so we are definitely improving the life for all of our citizens and the people we get to deal with. And Harry also brought up another thing. One of his folks that he has mentored there in the Southern California chapter is a young lady named Sarah Terry. She is a graduate of our Emerging Leaders Academy, and she's now up in Oregon, but she is a fantastic young woman. She posted on Instagram and other places about how proud she was of Harry receiving this. So that's kind of that indicative, that's the example of the kinds of things that Harry was talking about. So congratulations again, my friend. Our next top 10 recipient, who was nominated by the Missouri chapter, is Glenn Smith, Principal, Infrastructure, CDG Engineers. Congratulations, Glenn.
Thank you, Bill, and APWA for this award. Most of my 40-year engineering career has been spent designing and helping to complete transportation infrastructure projects, mostly for cities, counties, and states in the Midwest. The majority of these projects were fairly small and routine, and they did not win awards for their style or technical complexity. They just helped the public get from here to there better and safer than before the project was constructed. Public works improvement projects can have a very long-lasting effect on the people's lives that they touch. If I had to pick one project, it would probably be the large and custom designed and constructed pedestrian bridge on the campus of the University of Missouri-Columbia, Mizzou. It's my alma mater, and also for all three of our kids who attended and earned degrees at Mizzou. It's over Providence Road and leads to the football stadium. It's packed on game days. How did I first get involved with the APWA Missouri chapter? Back in the early 90s, I had occasionally attended local APWA meetings and conferences earlier in my career, but did not attend regularly. In the late 1990s, shortly after I joined a new firm, the senior company vice president named John Pollard, a retired military colonel, approached me about representing our firm and becoming more active in APWA. John took the time to introduce me to the St. Louis branch of Missouri chapter officers and leaders whom all knew and respected John. And he told them I could help the Missouri chapter and the branch. I was elected shortly thereafter to branch secretary and served the next 8 years as a branch and Missouri chapter officer and was the Missouri chapter president in 2010. Thank you, John Pollard. It's mostly impacted me personally by the number of high quality and good people I've met in the public works profession in St. Louis, Missouri, and across the country. Some of those persons became mentors to me, some became clients, and some became lifelong good friends. Most of us find the need to change jobs for various reasons over time. Those contacts really help make those job transitions much easier. In closing, I would like to take the time to thank the many people that helped me achieve this award, starting with my employer, CDG Engineers, here in St. Louis, Missouri. My parents have both passed away now, and they installed in us kids that family, school, and church were most important. My wife, Mary, and I celebrated 30 years of marriage in April, and we have 3 wonderful adult children, Scott, Sarah, and Paul. The first grandchild, Noah, was born last August. My family made many sacrifices on my behalf over the years so I could concentrate on and further my engineering career. I've been fortunate to have many work mentors over the years to help guide me, including Bob Lonsdale, Ray Wolf, and Jacques Darvish, and Jim Newcomer, Mike Augustine, and Mark Birchler here at CDG Engineers. As I said, I've met many good people through APWA over the last 20 plus years, and none better than BJ Vaccine and Brian Pearl of the Missouri chapter. 3 Missouri chapter members in particular helped encourage and greatly supported my efforts to submit for this award one more time. Ann Lamatola, Mike Geisel, and Gary Scheipeter. Mike and Gary are both previous APWA Top 10 awardees. For me, and for all of the people that have helped me over the years, this is really a crowning achievement for my professional career. Thank you all very much.
Thank you so much there, Glenn. Everything is so important, and we also want to thank the Missouri chapter in St. Louis. We will be there next year for PWX, And we will have the opportunity to celebrate with all of you in person this awards that you've been given. So we want to thank you for participating today as we have recognized our top 10 public work leaders of the year. And as we celebrate the importance of public works in our daily lives during National Public Works Week. Congratulations, all of you that are already close friends of mine. We will see each other soon. Those who I have never met personally, I definitely am looking forward to meeting you and congratulating you in person. So thank you. Thank you to staff for putting this together. And so we'll see you soon. See you in St. Louis, folks. Bye-bye.